Hey everyone. Today's lecture is on introductory paragraphs for persuasive essays. So the introductory paragraph formula should look familiar by now. It's the same formula we've been working with all year. The first sentence is a hook, which is a catchy statement that introduces the audience to the topic at hand. Your hook then leads into your bridge, which links the hook to the topic at hand. Then you summarize the issue. In this case, you summarize both sides' position on the issue, both sides of the argumentative coin, so to speak, and then your final sentence of the introductory paragraph is your central claim, which is also known as a thesis. And again, the central claim is the main point of your essay, the main point that you'll be proving in your argumentative essay. So let's pretend you're writing a persuasive essay on how smartphones and social media have destroyed your generation. Now, that sounds like a solid, arguable point upon which to build an essay. However, you can't just begin your introductory paragraph with your thesis. Oh no, the thesis belongs at the end of the introductory paragraph. Instead, you'll need to start with a hook, an attention grabber that will pull your reader into the heart of your essay. After the hook, which could be one to several sentences, although I usually prefer short hooks, you'll need to include a bridge phrase before your brief summary of the issue at hand. So let's look at famous quotes for our first example. So here's a famous quote from Carl Jung, a renowned psychologist. Here's my hook. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism. The famed psychologist Carl Jung wrote over 100 years ago. Now, I build a bridge that connects to that hook. However, if Jung had written that statement today, he might have needed to add a fourth addiction to that list, social media. Now, let's try a different type of hook. This one's a shocking statement. While much attention has been paid to the destruction that America's opioid epidemic is leaving in its wake, a new addiction is stealthily taking over teenagers' lives, social media. And now I build a bridge that connects to that hook. Jean Twenge, author of the article Has the Smartphone Destroyed a Generation?, certainly thinks so, as she presents a terrifying case of adolescent isolation and alienation. So now I've talked about how another author has found that smartphones are hurting the current crop of teenagers, and I've stated that in my bridge. So my hook is a shocking statement about how social media is an addiction that's taking over teenagers' lives, and then I built a bridge where I talked about another author's study of this subject. Now remember, I never want you to start an essay off with a question. So don't start your essay off with something like, are you addicted to social media? Or is social media addicting? Why would you torture this poor, exhausted essay reader with questions? Please just stop. So let's take a break and write our hook-bridge combos for whatever essay topic you have selected for your persuasive essay. Once you have written your hook-bridge combination, you now write your summary. So this is a brief summary of the topic at hand, and you should summarize both sides' position of this issue. So here's an example. In 2018, more high school students are addicted to social media than any illicit drug, spending more and more time online rather than hanging out with their peers in person. So now let's take a break from this lecture and summarize the issue at hand in our argumentative essays. Once you've written your summary, it's now time to write your central claim. Again, your central claim is the same thing as your thesis. So this is the main point of your essay. This must be a debatable point that a reasonable person could argue for or against. So here's a central claim for the current prompt that we are tackling. Has social media destroyed the current crop of teenagers? So here's the central claim. Social media addiction is not just creating an epidemic of alienation and isolation. It is actually destroying the next generation of adults. So this is a bold, debatable statement. A reasonable person could absolutely argue against this central claim. They could reasonably argue that social media is helping your generation in many different ways. But your central claim needs to be debatable. So pause the video right here and write your central claim for your argumentative essay. this is what all four components of my introductory paragraph look like when they're put together. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol, morphine, or idealism, the famed psychologist Carl Jung wrote over 100 years ago. However, if Jung had written that statement today, he might have needed to add a fourth addiction to that list, social media. In 2018, more high school students are addicted to social media than any illicit drug, spending more and more of their time online rather than hanging out with their peers in person. Social media addiction is not just creating an epidemic of alienation and isolation, it is actually destroying the next generation of adults. So my hook flows into my bridge, which then flows into my summary, and then I give my central claim, the point that I am proving in this essay. Now, someone could absolutely argue against this essay, and that might be a much better central claim than the one I've given as an example here. But I want you to now write your introductory paragraph for your argumentative essay based on the lecture that you've just seen.